I'm your host, Kim Gray, and today's episode is a special one because I'm joined by someone I have known for a very long time. Jason and I first met through salsa dancing back in about 2004. We're not quite sure, but somewhere around there. And over the years, we've shared a love of music, movement and healing in so many forms. It's been such a joy watching Jason's journey unfold, from the dance floor to the powerful meditative spaces he now holds with gongs and sound healing. Jason is someone who brings calm into a room without even trying, and today he's going to share a bit about how he got into gong meditation, what it actually does for the body and mind, and how sound can be as powerful a tool for anyone to release emotions, especially for those who are working through stress and trauma. So Jason, welcome. It's lovely to finally have you on the Sattva Way podcast.
Thank you, Kim. And wow, it's an honour to be here, and you've just given such a beautiful welcome.
That was the serious bit. Now to get into how we normally are, which is ridiculous and full of laughter.
Yes. So thank you. And yeah, I came to practice gongs by actually studying water, and it feels like a big leap. Water has the ability to regenerate and bring itself back to life. And they say when water flows over 7 stones, it's recharged and it's brand new. And sound can do the same thing, where the vibrations clears everything from our bodies. And this is kind of the beginning of my journey with sound. And the gong is such a cosmic instrument. It can take you to so many places. And I use it now more for tapping into my subconscious and overwriting some of the limiting beliefs that we have and allowing myself to transform. And I would advocate this for anybody.
Have you seen where they put a sound instrument into water and then they demonstrate the ripples through water? It's like using the water to be able to see the sound vibrations actually happening.
Yes, that's right. I mean, we have many studies and many people do believe that everything is vibration and frequency. Something called cymatics. When you vibrate at the right frequency, you're able to visualize sound in all of its forms. Have you seen these metal plates? When they're played at certain frequencies, they use sand or salt, and they immediately are reordered into different shapes. And that is what you can't resist that urge to move or reshape yourself based on the frequency. So sound is like a guidance for you, and it pulls you, pushes you, so it guides you into a new pattern, a new shape. And in actually doing so, I believe that is squeezing your cells. And so everything that you've picked up that isn't needed, actually, it gets all squeezed out. And so, like, this is a much more natural form of healing that you can do for yourself, like your body just being in the right types of vibrations. You're cleansing yourself all the time.
So what would you say to somebody who says, I've seen these sound bath meditations, but I'm not able to get to one. And when I am able to get to one, there's other barriers in the way, like you can't get a babysitter, or you can't afford it that particular month or whatever. So if you can't get to class, what do you think would be a good piece of advice?
I think being in nature is really important, and this allows you, to calm down, regulate, or be more human in nature. But if you can't do that as well, because of time restraints and other things, then I have a YouTube channel which I have a series of sessions which I play.
So actually, that's really helpful because I could probably just go and pick one of your YouTube, and maybe I could make that part of my daily routine. Say I could just do that before bed, or first thing in the morning I could just put one of your YouTubes on, and then I could set myself up for the day or chill myself up before I go to bed, because I think a lot of us have got like 1,000 million thoughts running through our head and find it difficult to sleep. So have you got any particular ones that you'd recommend?
Well, at the moment, I've got this mindful sleep journey, and so they're broken down into like small sections of finding your purpose and fear and doubt, and even like lighting your own fire. And basically, I've just broken down. So I've released different videos that you can combine into a series so that you can play them while you're sleeping. And this is just to help
That
you
sounds
so that you
perfect. It
can.
sounds like nothing, you don't have to think about it too much. You can just get into bed, put that on, lie down, and just listen to your voice. Is it guided?
Yes, so there's a small amount of guided meditation, a little bit of breath work, just relax and listen to the gongs and fall asleep. So it's really gentle, uplifting intentions for you.
I love it. I will definitely be doing that. I think the one about lighting a fire, I think, is probably a good one, especially for people like me who have become mummy. I was speaking to one of the mums today actually at ballet, and she said that she took a job specifically because she wanted to try and find what was her again. And it's so common in mums to kind of just lose themselves trying to be the perfect mum, or just trying to make sure that everyone's provided for, and having somebody just remind you that actually you need to find what is important to you and trying to relight your own fire. Like, that would be such a good one, I think, for people like me, for mums in particular, um or anyone really who just feels like they've just they've bobbled along for a bit and then maybe just to find like refocus the mind.
Yes, I think a lot of people just get stuck, and like my neighbor across the road, she was like, okay, I used to be a singer, but when I had my children, I just focused on my children, and she didn't allow herself to be who she was until she's served her purpose and brought them up. And she's like, okay, now I can go back to being myself and find what I love. But I do believe that you can do both at the same time. It's just that a lot of people find it can be quite risky, because I guess, I would say like a lot of people's purpose in life would be to bring up the next generation. But your purpose in life is what you want it to be.
Okay, they booked me a flight. I'm going traveling. My purpose in life is to travel the world on my own. Woo! I think that's one of my hobbies, is just literally just going to just imaginary buying flights to anywhere.
Where's your Where's your
Uh,
first destination that you want to go?
my first, do you know what? I really want to go to Bali. I really want to go and do a yoga retreat in Bali, because I see other people do it and I think it looks amazing.
Yeah, my friend has been there just recently. She just come back and she said it was amazing. She went out to do some breath work and yoga, and she was like, "Oh my god, it just feels so natural to be outdoors and so comfortable to be doing lots of videos for her social media and stuff.
Mm.
The energy is just so positive out there, and the community there is also really great for these well-being lifestyles."
I think anything where you're but just where you're happy, just from the inside out when you're happy. Like whenever I've danced salsa, whenever we've danced salsa, I'm just happy from the inside out. And like one of my best trips that I've ever been on was Estonia, because I just remember the whole thing. It was either dance or it was laughing with you. And I just think what a hilarious time just to like, oh, we'll just nip over there to Estonia or just bumble around. And then even when we weren't dancing, we were just exploring. And then there's some ridiculous photos. Anything where you're with good company and you're just happy from the inside out. Everybody needs to find that somehow. And a lot of people, I think, just get a bit quite stagnant in their life. You just need to shake it up a bit and just go and do something that just makes you remember how to be happy, how to be content, how to be happy from the inside out. Maybe that's what I'm trying to say. Just, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it's important to see life through curious lenses, like a child. Like all they do is try and find happiness, and be curious and play at stuff, and that type of lens just keeps you really in the spirit of seeking and happy.
Yeah, like the inner child and nurturing your inner child.
Absolutely. What does your
So let's go back. Let's go back to the gongs. So what was the first one, the first instrument that you got? Because I can see in the background. Okay, so a lot of people know what a sound bath is, but for people who don't know what a sound bath is, if you were to go up to somebody in the street and ask them if they want a sound bath, what do you think their response might be?
I guess if they don't know, they'd be, what is a sound bath and what do you do?
They might say, is it with clothes on or off?
Well, firstly, it's.
They might think it's a chat up
Or
line.
would you say, would you like to go to a sound bath with me?
And they might ask you whereabouts it is and
Well, it
what
entails
it entails.
relaxing, letting go.
Also, you can do that in a normal bath.
I mean, yeah,
Like, for example, would you go out to a single mum and ask if
I haven't
do you want a
approached
sound
people
bath?
on yeah, in the streets and asked them, is that something I should do?
Maybe you should just get out there and start doing it. And then people are like,
It's a
what's
bath
this? And
with
you can
sound.
say, it's a bath with no bath because it bathes your soul in healing vibrations.
Very nice.
That didn't sound that relaxing. I'm not going to lie. I thought that was sounded like something from a horror movie. I'm going to hand over to you now because I think that you can probably have an opportunity to really create a couple of seconds of something that's really tranquil. Maybe we could just start by taking a couple of breaths and inhale and exhale and inhale and exhale and then relax and enjoy a little dong on the gong. That was a very relaxing. For a minute there, I was almost floating off to sleep. But then I remembered we've still got some things to talk about before we finish. So I just need to ask, how do you know which gong to play and what to play when? Is it just intuitive, or does it come from a class, a lesson, something that you've learned before? How do you know?
I think these instruments are quite ancient and you just allow them to come through you. And it's a little bit like connecting back to nature and allowing the spirit to guide you, and a lot of intention and what you're trying to work on or allow. It's very interesting because sometimes I keep playing and I think I'm going to stop, but I'm guided to carry on and change the sounds that are coming through. And obviously there are patterns that you learn, but they change over time anyway. So it's a very organic instrument to be playing.
Interesting. Because, I mean, obviously I play the handpan and just stick to a kind of a similar rhythm, but then when I'm giving a session, yeah, it kind of just flows. You can see loads of instruments. What have you got there at the top? It looks like a xylophone or a glockenspiel. Can we hear that? Chimes? Like little fairies dancing through a forest.
I'm going to ground you a little with some bells.
This is such a nice thing to listen to just before the evening is out. Breathe and relax. We've come to the end of our show now. I just want to say thank you so much for being on here and just kind of giving us a little insight. What would be your final words before we finish this podcast tonight?
I would say thank you for having me, and it's been a pleasure to be interviewed by you. And
what inspirational message would you end the sound bath with?
Kindness and generosity. It makes such a difference to other people's lives, and it doesn't cost you anything.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's why I've been friends with this man for so long. So thank you very much, and we'll see you on the next episode of the Sattva Way. So just between me and you, I'd like to say, keep walking the Sattva Way.